it was said through the inspection of the space shuttle that blew up over Texas in the year of 2003, there was a malfunction in the tire which caused the space shuttle to blow up in the year of 2003. I'm saying this right now, and these things will come to pass. I said this on that first book. I had a space shuttle design on my first book, and I said that God spoke about space shuttle in Ezekiel chapter 1. Now I'm saying I said that God built the space shuttle, had Jesus built the space shuttle, spoken of in Ezekiel chapter 10, and they said it was a malfunction of the tire, heat shield tire, that caused it to blow up. So I'm saying this once again, that this is the works of God. I said the earth will, it is, and it will open up and swallow a large magnitude of these troops over there, and they will go under, just as it's spoken of here in Revelation chapter 12, 16 and dash 18. Revelation 12, 16 dash 18. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And dragon is the United Nations. Nations having nuclear capability. They will send a mass of soldiers to go in and try to find Bin Laden and the rest of these here, and the earth will open up their mouth and swallow these nations. Soldiers of these, and the dragon was wrath. He became angry with the woman, and went to make war with the remainers of her seed, which kept the commandments, which did not take on the law of democracy, but instead kept the commandments of God, which came from Moses, kept the commandment and had the testimony of Jesus Christ. Anybody that maintain their dignity and their integrity towards God, integrity towards Jesus Christ, they went after them to persecute them after they were not, after earth opened up his mouth and swallowed these pigs. And this is where World War III came to be bitter at, where spoken of in Revelation 6. And when he talked about the pale horse, this is where the pale horse took over, because they were angry with God, because they seen God was fighting with these nations. And once they became angry with these peoples, they went at them with weapons of mass destruction to show their dark side, to try to change back time. Now, the reason I decided I go with this was I had to go here and come back to the root part, the grassroots part, and that's Ezekiel. That's Ezekiel. Where mine calling from? Is it connect into Revelation? All of these connects to Revelation. Spoken of through a Bible prophecy. Let me see if I get this without destroying all my part here. But this good. This is gonna be good. Try to do the best I can. Now, this is the reason I had to do this and go through this here. You might see that I'm kind of dragging on my skill. I'm drinking a little water here. Now, my daughter asked me the other day, she said, Daddy, why do you have to keep going through the Bible part where it says in the beginning, God created heaven and earth? Well, I imagine many might ask this same question. The reason I have to go back through this part is because the tree of life began at a solid foundation. It began at the first man, second man, third man, and the fourth man. This is where the generation began at. But only one from the root of this tree could bear the dominion of this tree of life. Well, the reason I have to go back into this day in, day out, every time I get to discussing it, and show you who had dominion of the Bible. First, we have to start again with Adam and Eve, which was the first man and the first woman. So the dominion will normally start from the first fruits of that dominion. Where in the beginning, where God had created the first man, Adam was the man who had dominion. God gave Adam a specific charge to be keepers of the earth. So the next one will follow after Adam and Eve. But once this became, then you got a tree. First is the seed from the earth, was the first creation of man. And then the tree buds up, and the first branch is the first fruit of that tree. The first branch of this tree would normally be the fruit bearer, which represents the tree. This is where Cain was. Cain became the first fruits of the earth of Adam and Eve. But after Cain slew his brother Abel, in verse 4, and God, out of jealousy, God spoke to him concerning this matter. And I believe in verse 14, chapter 4, verse 14, he told God from him he will hide his face. So if the tree decided it's going to be the first branch, said that he was going to hide his face, you know, we always have to look at this as a pattern. Hide his face from God. He told God from Jesus, from him, from you, shall my face be hid. You read it in verse chapter 4, verse 14, 15, I believe it is in there. Now, what you have to do, consider this. He said, from your face, well, how do you interpret this? The opposite of east is west. The opposite of west is east. The opposite of north is south, and the opposite of south is north. So to turn your face from somebody means that you're going to do the opposite of their will. So if God told Adam and Eve to be keepers of the earth and do according to his will, and Cain the first fruit of Adam, and God had gave Adam a specific child, Cain, because of his jealousy, he told God he gonna do opposite from what he said. He's gonna turn my back from him. Same as east is opposite west, and west is opposite east. So why put a commandment on somebody who has stood there and told you, give him a commandment of it, and told you that he's not going to serve you, he's not going to obey you regardless of what you tell him to do? So God had to raise up a secondary fruit in the place of the brother of Abel who Cain had slain, because Cain had already told him he was not going to do anything that he said. So what happened? Eve bare Adam a third son, who was called Seth, because Cain said that he was not going to serve God. So God had to create another fruit, which would be a third branch of the tree of Adam and Eve, who would become Seth. In a due process of time, as Cain began to serve the devil and not do according to was not calling on God, holding on to the promise that he had made, the Word, who was Jesus Christ, there was nobody to call on the name of God until Seth was born. It will tell you this in Genesis chapter 5.